very good afternoon to you, and thanks for joining us on ITV News at this time. I'm Harry Igbo. Operatives of the Nigeria Police Force (NPF) have arrested and repatriated a 61-year-old Turkish national, Assa Hussein, who fled his country after being convicted of fraud earlier this year. Force spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday, saying Hussein, who was convicted for fraud by the Istanbul Anadolu High Criminal Court earlier this year, fled Turkey shortly after judgment in an attempt to evade serving a sentence of 14 years, 8 months and 10 days. Hundeyin said the fugitive traveled through the Middle East into Nigeria. The force spokesman said the fugitive has been repatriated to Istanbul to commence his sentence following the completion of the necessary documentation and in collaboration with relevant international partners. He added that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, commended the Interpol unit for what he described as a professional operation, stressing that Nigeria would not be a haven for fugitives or escaped convicts. Egbetokun stated that the force remains committed to fulfilling its international obligations, deepening police-to-police cooperation, and supporting global efforts against transnational crime. And moving on, Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in Abuja from Luanda, Angola, after successfully representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the 7th African Union-European Union AU-EU Summit held in that country. Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in Abuja from Luanda, Angola, after successfully representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the 7th African Union-European Union Summit held in that country. The Vice President had on Sunday departed South Africa for Luanda after a successful outing at the 2025 group of 20 G20 leaders summit in Johannesburg, where he also represented the president. In Angola, Senator Shettima delivered President Tinubu's statement in which the Nigerian leader intensified the nation's call for Africa to secure permanent seats with veto-wielding authority on the United Nations UN Security Council, insisting that comprehensive reform of the global governance system is long overdue. The president in his statement also tasked the European Union (EU) with co-creating peace and security initiatives alongside its African partners and called on African-led frameworks as a pathway to achieving sustainable stability across the continent. The Nigerian leader reaffirmed the country's firm commitment to advancing peace, security and democratic governance across Africa and collaborating with the European Union to build a more stable, just and prosperous world. Following the security challenges facing the country, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idris Abbas, has warned naval personnel that the Navy will decisively deal with any officer involved in illegal oil activities within Nigeria's maritime waterways. Warri correspondent Benga Ahmed reports that the naval chief made the remarks during his visit to the command to ascertain the level of preparedness of the Navy in maritime domain security.
On arrival at the Nigerian naval ship NNS Delta headquarters in Warri, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas inspected the water guards parade and exchanged pleasantries with senior naval officers during his inaugural familiarization visit to the command. Addressing officers and ratings, the Chief of Naval Staff stressing that security remains the foundation for national development, urging personnel to remain committed to their professional duties.
I must reiterate that you maintain the highest standards of discipline and professionalism, particularly in the conduct of your operations.
Vice Admiral Abbas reiterated the Navy's commitment to maintaining peace in the maritime environment to enable legitimate business to thrive. He also called for stronger collaboration with host communities. In his remarks, the commander of NNS Delta, Commodore Abdulaziz Subir, thanked the Chief of Naval Staff for the visit.
Sir, we assure you that NNS Delta will remain steadfast, disciplined, and fully aligned to our strategic intent as we work to secure the maritime domain and protect Nigerian vital economic interests.
Earlier, the Chief of Naval Staff toured all NNS Delta facilities to assess the challenges facing the command and determine how best to address them. From Warri, Benga Ahmed, ITV News.
And moving on, troops of Operation Whirlwind Stroke have intensified harvest season protection in Benue, arresting 2 herders who allegedly trespassed into community farmlands and destroyed crops in Makurdi. In a statement by the operation's public relations officer, Lieutenant Ahmad Zubeiru, the incident occurred on 20th November during a routine patrol at Zongo Akiki. The swift action of the troops prevented further damage and avoided a potential clash with farmers. The suspects are now in custody for investigation. Force Commander Major General Moses Gara commended the troops' professionalism and urged the public to avoid taking the law into their own hands. He reminded herders to remain law-abiding as OPWS continues safeguarding farmlands and supporting food security. According to previous reports, 3 people have been confirmed dead and several others injured in a separate clash between crop farmers and cattle herders in the Birni local government area of Jigawa State. 24 students of Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, GGCSS, MAGA, who were abducted by bandits and subsequently rescued, have been handed over to the Governor of Kebbi State, Nasir Idris. The handover was performed by the theater commander, Major General Idris Wara, on Tuesday night in Birni, Kebbi, acting on the directive of the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawali. While handing over the schoolgirls, Wara explained that immediately after the tragic abduction, troops were swiftly mobilized and launched an intensive pursuit of the bandits. He revealed that Bagega Forest was identified as the location where the victims were being held, and the area was subsequently cordoned off, with all entry and exit points blocked by soldiers. He also conveyed the appreciation of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Major General Waidi Shaibu, and Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, for the support and cooperation received by the Kebbi State Government, the Minister of State for Defense, and all sister security agencies involved in the successful rescue operation. Over now to Rivers State, where the police command has dismissed a viral social media video alleging that herdsmen launched an attack in the state but were repelled by Ijaw youths. Describing the claim as false and deliberately misleading in a statement on Wednesday, the public relations officer of the Rivers Police Command, Grace Iringe Koko, said the video was fabricated by individuals intent on inciting fear and disrupting the peace currently enjoyed across the state. According to the command, no incident, report, or intelligence suggests that Fulani herdsmen have attacked any community in Rivers State. It said that the narrative was a deliberate attempt by mischief makers to undermine the prevailing peace and stability. The police urged residents to disregard the viral content and refrain from sharing unverified information that could have provoked unnecessary tension or damaged the state's image. Iringe Koko said the command, working with other security agencies, remains fully committed to safeguarding lives and property. The command advised members of the public to remain calm, vigilant, and to verify information through official channels before dissemination. Torrential monsoon rains have set off destructive floods and landslides across Indonesia's Sumatra Island, killing at least 10 people and leaving dozens of others missing, according to local authorities. Days of relentless rainfall since Monday forced rivers in North Sumatra province to overflow, sending mud rocks and uprooted trees crashing through villages in 6 regencies. The National Police said on Wednesday that rescue teams were struggling to reach isolated communities as damaged roads, unstable slopes, and persistent downpours continued to slow operations. Authorities said 5 bodies and 3 injured survivors were recovered in the coastal city of Sibolga, the area hit hardest by the flooding. Search teams are looking for 4 missing residents as damage assessments continue. In neighboring central Tapanuli, landslides crushed several homes, killing at least 4 members of the family, while severe flooding submerged nearly 2,000 houses and public buildings. Further south, floods and fallen trees killed 1 resident in South Tapanuli and injured another. The disaster struck on the same day Indonesia's National Disaster Mitigation Agency ended a 10-day search in 2 districts of central Java, where earlier storms killed 38 people. More than 1,000 responders were deployed to locate those buried under deep mud, but officials said unstable ground and worsening weather made further operations too dangerous. 13 people remain missing in Cilacap and Banjarnegara. And talking business now, the Naira yesterday depreciated to 1,474 per dollar in the parallel market from 1,465 per dollar on Monday. Similarly, the Naira appreciated to 1,441 per dollar in the Nigerian Foreign Exchange Market, NFEM. Data published by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, showed that the exchange rate for the Naira fell to 1,441 Naira per dollar from 1,452 Naira per dollar on Monday, indicating 11 Naira appreciation for the Naira. As a result, the margin between the parallel market and NFEM rates widened to 33 Naira per dollar from 13 Naira per dollar on Monday. And talking sports now, in the UEFA Champions League, Chelsea winger Estevao Willian outshone fellow teenage superstar Lamine Yamal in a sensational 3-0 home win over 10-man Barcelona. Estevao scored a stunning second goal after Barcelona went down to 10 men with skipper Ronald Araujo sent off for a second booking just before the break. By then, the hosts had taken the lead through an own goal by Barcelona defender Jules Koundé, with substitute Liam Delap completing the scoring and ending an 11-game drought with his first goal of the season. Estevao stole the limelight from visiting Yamal when the Brazil international skipped past Paul Cabassi, held off Alejandro Balde, and powered his shot past goalkeeper John Garcia, while Yamal was then substituted in the 80th minute. In another game, Pep Guardiola's 100th Champions League game in charge of Manchester City ended in disappointment after the much-changed hosts were stunned by Bayer Leverkusen. Guardiola made 10 changes following their Premier League loss at Newcastle on Saturday. Juventus beat Bodo Glimt 3-2. No Borussia Dortmund trashed Villarreal 4-0. Newcastle lost 2-1 against Marseille, while Napoli were 2-0 victory against Karabakh. And that report wraps it on ITV News at this time. Thanks so much for watching. I am Harry Iboje. Do enjoy the rest of your day.